No, I 100% emphatically reject any claims that we instructed Crawford to crash in Miami so Sargeant could pit under the safety car. It just didn't happen. Look, mate, these two can crash at any point. If anything, I have to instruct them not to crash. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas, and today we have the Spanish Grand Prix. After last race, perhaps controversially, Crawford brought out the safety car at the perfect time for Sargeant to stop in Miami, and he ended up coming in 5th. So a good race for us in the constructors, a very good race for Sargeant in the drivers, and yeah, Crawford of course didn't manage any points, but he does have 2 to his name this season, and let's hope he can add to that tally as we move forward as well. Now there's not too much to add to the car. We have had a 2-week gap between the last race and this one. You can see that we've got, well, we're building a new chassis because Crawford went through one of those in his little Miami incident. We've got a new suspension that should be with us for the next race, and then we've got a little bit more of a wait before anything else is going to come onto the car. We can see that they've got some research, and there is a new underfloor being developed as well. Now, if we go and have a look at our drivers, we do have development points to add. We will continue to add onto who's this? Yeah, Sargeant's smoothness. There's a part of me that wonders, is it better off developing another part of his attributes? Does the tire difference make that much of a difference? But I mean, I think we've got to get to at least 60, don't we? And then we can have a look at what we're doing. But yeah, it's just not good enough, is it? Crawford, he does have development points here as well. We'll stick that for him into reactions, perhaps. Maybe accuracy and control could do with a little bit more urgent work for him. And Kalen Frederick, the Muppet that is our reserve driver, let's stick this into control for him. He's never going to get anywhere near a Formula 1 car, though, unfortunately for him. And we're going to have a look at our staff now. Our chief of technical chief, I should say, does have a development point. We will go and stick that onto underfloor, I guess, because that seems to be the most powerful part of the car. And I don't think we have anything else there. We don't. Our pit crew, we are continuing to improve pit stop times ever so slowly. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do. I think ideally what I'd like to do is get tyre changes and the front and rear jacks at the same level. And then we'll just do a general focus and trying to get everything going up at once. But I think they're definitely the two most important. Releasing the car, yeah, I mean, it's not that important, I don't think, is it? Relatively speaking, we're at the end of the pit lane. If you can't release a car from there, what are you doing? Alright, let's have a look here at the track. It is going to be another dry weekend. We had so much rain last year, and this year it's all been dry, hasn't it, for the most part? For qualifying, red is Sector 1, blue Sector 2, yellow Sector 3. Now, reminder, this is the old Catalunya track, so we do still have that little chicane in there, unlike what they had in real life this year. Sections by speed, we can see it. There's 3 sort of slower traction zones, otherwise it's a fast-flowing track. We can see there what's important on the car. Time considerations, safety car or virtual safety car stop saves you about 10 to 12 seconds. So that's probably worth doing, but not a great chance of a safety car taking place. Expected strategies, it's a tire reader, this one, isn't it? So a 2-stop. That makes me wonder, do we want to save a set of mediums? So if you can do it on 2 sets of softs, why wouldn't you really? Or we could also go to a hard. So I think I will save the softs rather than a set of mediums. I'll have to have a think about that. We can see the drop-off is not great. It's not a great amount of drop-off, I should say, per lap, and it's not a big difference in it. But the soft tyre is about 0.7 of a second faster a lap, so that might very well be worth doing the soft tyres just for that alone. K-Mag last year was second here behind Carlos Sainz, and Sargeant was down there in 12th. Historically, we have won this race with K-Mag. He's had a first and a second, so let's hope that we can go and get somebody else back on the podium. Logan Sargeant, I can't see Crawford doing it, unfortunately. And if we're going to have a look at our performance targets, we want a qualifying position, someone in the top 8. So that means someone in Q3. We would hope to get a car into Q2 at this point. Finishing position in the top 8. I'd like to think Sargeant could do that for us. Qualifying streak, a car in the top 10. And like I've said many times, we're not going to get 2 cars in the top 10 for 3 races in a row. But it's nice to dream, isn't it? All right, let's head off to Spain. So here we go, confirmation. A cloudy weekend, but no rain expected. And we'll all go do some practice, and I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, well, free practice has happened. Let's have a look at how we did. Now, FP1, Science caused the crash. He's got himself a penalty. I was looking really forward to this because we had Sargeant up there in 4th, which is good. Crawford, of course, injured his knackered, but he was still down there in 17th, which isn't too bad. Just over a second off the pace as well, which, again, is not too bad. FP2, we had Sargeant up there in 7th, though a second back from Verstappen, who looks like he's in a class of his own here. And Crawford down there ahead of Science, albeit the tire difference there maybe accounts for that. But then FP3 we were struggling again, and I don't really know what happened. Both cars are over a second out off the pace, and it looks as though we're going to struggle to get out of Q1, so that's not ideal, is it? But let's go and see how we're going to do here. You can see setup confidence is okay. It could obviously be better, but we'll put the best parts back on the car and see how this goes. Hopefully we don't need to come back for our second run here, but I suspect we will. Alright, so we are coming back for Crawford's second run. Sargeant isn't on track right now. He's 4th. I'm fairly confident he's got this in the bag. Verstappen, look at, he's half a second to clear his own teammate. It's ridiculous. But Crawford, 3/10 right now, safe inside to get the Q2. So we'll have to wait and see here. He does need to be on track at least to try and get a better time. He's done a green first sector. There is a little bit of green behind us as well as he's bumped down now to 13th. Ricciardo could possibly get ahead of us, and then you're looking at Tsunoda and Albon as well, who could. Crawford has not gone faster in the middle sector as Ricciardo locks up, so that'll mean he's not going to get past us. So I think Crawford might be okay here. Let's see if he can come around and boost himself up the order a little bit. Anyway, 2 yellow sectors and he stays 13th, but he's through. So it could well be yellow flags played their part in maybe that lap dying out a little bit as well, which is a shame. So it looks like we've wasted a set of tyres there where we didn't necessarily need to. But anyway, Sainz is out. He crashed again in his first run in qualifying, so he's having a torrid home race, isn't he? Let's go to Q2. Alright, so we are on board again with Crawford, who is currently in 14th. Now, Guan Yu Zhou, I don't think is going to get back out on track. He did a run sort of in the gap, I guess you'd call it. So I think he's done. Sargeant again should be safe in 4th, though he's looking good for a second row start if he can keep up his form. First run as ever we did on used tyres as well, so we should have a little bit more pace just on the fact we're on fresh tyres here. Though the drop-off wasn't huge, was it, when we checked it at the start of the episode there. So green sectors for both in the first. Crawford's gone faster again in the second. We are on board with Crawford. He's currently 15th. If he can get himself back up into sort of 13th where he was, that'd be a nice place for him to start. But I don't know if he's got the pace to get to Q3. We're about to find out. Sargeant stays 4th. Crawford goes 13th. I think that's his best qualifying. So there we go. Crawford eliminated. He will start 13th. Sargeant, though, looking good, isn't he, for a second row start? Let's see if he can sort of convert that now, I guess. Alright, here we go on our final run. Now, I haven't quite managed to get us prime track position at the back of the pack. We've got Leclerc and Gasly, I think, behind us, but we are still in 4th. That was our run on used tyres, so we've got the fresh ones on now. And let's see if we can keep ourselves between the 2 Alpines and ahead of the Ferraris and Magnussen and the Mercedes. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Green first sector. Verstappen is flying. Leclerc's going faster as well. Gasly is not. Neither is Ocon or Perez behind us. And second sector time here is another green one for Logan. Can he go and stick this on the second row? Could he do the front row? You can't split the Red Bull, surely. But we would very much take a second row start if we could manage to get ourselves 4th. Here we go. Are we going to even be able to jump Gasly perhaps for 3rd? No, we're 4th. Do we stay 4th? Gasly crosses the line. And it is 4th for Logan Sargeant. So we'll take that, won't we? Wonderful qualifying from him. Splitting the Alpines, who we know are a good car. And we ended up 8/10 behind. Verstappen's going to walk this race, isn't he? But let's have a look at our strategy options here. I mean, could we dare dream of a podium? Now, we'd only have one new medium, so we can't do that. Is a one-stop an option? I mean, it is, isn't it? A one-stop definitely looks to be an option here. If we were to take out a stint, it's very doable. And then if we get a safety car, we can kind of come in and put on a soft tyre, move the medium forward. I don't really understand why you wouldn't do that. Now, the soft tyre was quite a bit quicker, but it's such a comfortable one-stop on the tyres. Yeah, like I say, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. So let's do that, I think. And Crawford, do we look to do the same thing? I wonder if our car is just good on its tyres right now, and we can pull this off when others can't. We couldn't do a soft, could we? We really pushed it. Oh, you know what? We just about could, you know. I don't think we'd want to try that with Sargeant. I don't think his tyre life is quite good enough. But Crawford, with really nothing to lose, starting 13th, that does look doable. So we're going way off the board here. We might be the only cars doing a one-stop. A safety car could, of course, change all that. But yeah, you only live once. Let's try it. All right, welcome back. Looking forward to this. Sargeant, second row of the grid. You could argue we don't need to go and do a weird strategy given where we're starting, but yeah, like I say, it just seems like it's very doable. I don't really understand why you wouldn't go for it. As Verstappen does take the lead, we've got a yellow flag in sector 1. It looks like Ocon was dropping back there. We are the only real front runner on a hard. There's a few others at the back, but if we can stay with them, I mean, Verstappen on a medium will hopefully be more at our pace, but we're going to be slow at the start, aren't we? But we've got 20 odd seconds that we're going to save in a pit stop. We're going to have decent tyres at the end. I mean, Crawford's going to have a soft tyre at the end and save 20 seconds on a pit stop, so who knows what he could do. We've got a really good run out of that last corner. Just don't think we quite have what it takes to get past Ocon there. But if we can keep up with these soft tyre runners, then that would be a very, very nice thing indeed, wouldn't it? Now, of course, when DRS opens, we do need to kind of make sure that we are in that ballpark. Crawford, let's have a check-in on him as he is trying to get a move done on Vettel. But no such luck there. I think now we will just look to save the ERS that we have. And yeah, let DRS do its thing. We need to, of course, stay in the second. But I think we're going to be able to do that. I think. We're in danger of dropping out of it, but yeah, this is one of these races. It's going to be a slow burn for us. We need to just not make mistakes, please, guys. We can't afford to drop time in the gravel traps, but if we can manage to do this, making a stop less, I mean, you should see how this one plays out. Oh, and Sargeant is locked up. I just said, mate, we don't need you doing that, and that's going to send him to the back. And once a Sargeant, always a Sargeant. Unbelievable.
Here's the replay.
Alright, well, this race has... it's one thing we didn't need is him dropping to the back. He is slowly starting to catch up now as other tyres will start to wear, so we'll make up a little bit of ground. Crawford is sort of in that battle there behind, Russell in 9th. So we're sort of, yeah, we're in more of a battle for 9th now than anything else. But... well, we'll see. As I say, we've still got a stop less to make. In theory, that'll save us 20 seconds, but 20 seconds maybe gets us to sort of 5th, 6th now, doesn't it? It doesn't really, it's not a podium position, but I think for where we are right now, 5th or 6th is probably a pretty good recovery. Alright, so pit stops are now starting. So that moves Crawford up to 10th. And it moves Sargeant up to 15th. Now, this is sort of positions with everybody still to make one stop. So you can see why it's so disappointing that that Sargeant did what he's done. But we'll stay with it. We've got our batteries fully charged. So I think what we're going to do is, around about pit stop times, do a couple of deploy laps. And just really try and, try and push ourselves, as far up as we can get. Crawford's got a little bit of free air right now, though, in 4th. Now, Vettel's going to stop soonish. And that's potentially 3rd. I mean, Sargeant could really... We'll see how it plays out. But if Sargeant had stayed on the track, the Red Bulls were probably going to be too quick for us today. Certainly Verstappen. But Sargeant could easily have had a podium today. I mean, he's still good, to be fair. Everybody with a stop to make. But it's going to be one that got away from him, I think. Okay, so we have more cars that have come into the pits now. So we now sit 3rd and 4th. Sargeant has got ahead of Crawford. And I wonder if this is the time for Sargeant to use his deploy. I don't want to go too early on it. He is coming up to his pit window. I'm thinking more... Hang on, let me just... If we were to pit where's the gap that we come back into? I wonder if what we need to do here is 18th. Where's that on the track, though? 18th is there ahead of Sainz. So I wonder if we do try a couple of deploy laps here, if we can sort of push ourselves into a little bit. Actually, no, because Crawford's a little bit sooner. He's going to come in later for the soft, isn't he? I'm trying to save up as much petrol as I can for Crawford, so when he does come in, soft tyres he'll be able to sort of do less lift and coast, and hopefully get some overtakes done without actually telling him to push the tyres, which is when we know our boys tend to enjoy a spin. So we're going to try and avoid that. But yeah, everybody with a stop to go. We're 4th and 5th, which is decent. Let's see if we can continue to stay there, though. Okay, so we are on the Logan Sargeant pit stop lap. It's his optimal lap to come in. It's so tempting to just tell him to push and use up the tyres, but I did that, didn't I? Where was that? Imola, wasn't it? And it didn't work. He just ended up spitting it into the sand like he tends to do. So he has lost out right now to Ocon in the other Alpine, but 5th and 6th is still a very good afternoon's work. And we're going to go on to some softer tyres now and some better tyres in the mediums, of course. That should see him with some pretty good lap speed. So let's see what sort of pit stop the boys can do for us. We're expected to come out in 18th, even though we did have the couple of deploy laps. And it looks as though that is where it's going to be for us. So, oh, actually, we're down in last, which is not what we wanted, obviously. So some overtaking to do. We really don't want to get stuck behind Mick Schumacher here for too long. What sort of tyres are we looking at here? So everybody's on a medium. They're surely not going to the end, are they, on those mediums? What we might do is we'll wait for the straight here, because this is going to be important. We need to get these overtakes done. And we'll click onto the overtake and hopefully get this done. DRS for the Williams as well.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained
Perez has overtaken Crawford. I mean, that's fine, but yeah, it's not good, is it? Let's stay on the overtake. Let's see if we can get a move done somewhere that's maybe unexpected. One thing, both our drivers, if you look at their attributes, at the start there we were adding things, they're not great overtakers. And they don't tend to have, I don't think they don't have particularly good aggression either, which is not going to help on that front. Can we get a move down the outside? Stick it there, mate, and you'll grab the inside. There we go, job done. And pit window now entered for Crawford. So he'll be coming on to put on the softs. But we'll take him as far as we can so that those soft tyres are as good for as long as possible. He's losing a few positions here though now, isn't he? But it was so marginal, we've got to take him as far as we can here. Alright, can we go now and get a move done on Albon, which is going to be important. I'm slightly concerned these guys might all be trying to get to the end. But anyway, we've got a little bit of DRS here. Can we get it done down the inside this time? Logan Sargeant putting the moves on. Of course, he is almost certainly just going to lose out down the main straight now to DRS as well. Oh, and he's spun.
Let's see what happened there. Now just focus on the Haas.
Unbelievable, Logan. Unbelievable. Alright, so Crawford is pitting this lap. When he comes out of the pits, we will be doing deploy. We will be trying to use up as much of the petrol because he does have about a lap and a half extra. I should actually lessen the fuel that's in the tank to start the race, I think. But that's getting a little bit advanced for only 3-second stop. We're a little bit like a backmarker team this year, aren't we? So there's Crawford's one and only stop done. Go on, mate. Use your push, use your deploy, and see what you can do. But he's a bit of a long last, to be honest. He's got Verstappen just behind him, actually. He's in danger of being lapped. Hopefully he'll put in some good times and be able to push clear of him. I'm thinking everybody's going to have to make another stop. But that looks suspiciously like everybody could be on a one stop. So we'll just have to hope, I think, that that's not the case. Sargeant has got himself successfully past Albon now. But, of course, he's done his damage to his race already, hasn't he? With a spin and a trip to the gravel. So, yeah. It's another one of the... it's a Logan special, isn't it? Alright, well, Crawford and Sargeant are absolutely flying. We're the two fastest cars on track, near enough. Now, Leclerc is pitting. Is that... Now, because we were behind Gasly, weren't we? Oh, it just hurts. It just hurts. So Sargeant now up to 13th. How many other cars here are going to stop is going to be the big question, isn't it? Verstappen is stopping, so everybody looks like they're coming in again. And Sargeant is suddenly in a very big contention for points. In fact, he goes 6th. Crawford is now inside the points in 10th as well on soft tyres. So this race, it is one that got away from us, honestly. If we're the only car that's one stopping, if Sargeant hadn't lost all that time sitting in gravel traps, then I think he would have got 3rd, wouldn't he? It's definitely a podium that got away. We've got Crawford overtaking a Ferrari now, and Perez, that looks like DRS has got the Ferrari straight back past him. But, yeah, still a long way to go here, too. 15 or so laps. Sargeant, though, is up into 5th. Crawford is up into 6th. Come on, boys. Alright, so we've got 10 laps to go. Now, Verstappen is a very big chance of actually lapping the field here, which would do us good because Crawford right now is very marginal. We knew it was marginal, but he's extra marginal to get to the end. Everybody is on soft tyres, though, apart now from Sargeant. But what Crawford's doing a really good job of here is actually holding up, or holding back, if we go to an outboard camera here, which I think is that one, holding up these cars on fresher soft tyres and stopping them from actually being able to get to Sargeant. Now, we might be in a little bit of trouble here, as Perez does indeed go past. But he's given, 12 seconds to Sargeant with... Crawford. He was going to score really good points there. It's a safety car. We've got to bring Sargeant in for soft tyres. So again, Crawford is out. Now, we've got to do this because he's on a medium tyre. Everybody's just going to eat him up otherwise. Now, it's said we might come out in 12th. Now, whether that is going to be accurate with, under a safety car stop or not, I don't know. Nobody else will need to come in. There's the safety car just coming out in front of us there. Is it a good stop? It's one of our better ones. And we come out in 9th. So that's not the worst. Though we should be able to get past the safety car here. We will have to harvest. We'll save petrol. Conserve our tyres. And yeah, he's going to have a little bit of work to do to get back to 5th. But like I say, everybody banked up behind us when we were on a medium tyre. That wasn't going to work. We would have dropped back anyway. So let's see how this plays out. Alright, now it's been a long safety car. There's going to be 5 laps to go, I think, or 5 laps to go when we cross the line. We are going to push his tyres because we have that much more. We're on full ERS burn, full petrol burn, and see what we can do here. I do genuinely believe that if we had stayed out on medium tyres, yes, we would have been in 5th, but I think we would have got eaten up. I really, really do. So we've already got one position done there. We just need to pray that Sargeant does keep it on the road. He's already been off twice. Surely he's found his limits at this point. Is another position, is it up the inside of Guan Yu Zhou? So that's 7th. Next up, it is K-Mag, our old hero, of course. Can Sargeant now go and stick a move on him? One that doesn't involve running at the back of him, preferably Logan. Here we go again. And if we can do this, we're behind Perez. And Perez, of course, is sort of our break-even point, because that's 5th where we were before the safety car came out. That is aggressive. Using a little bit of inside curb there as well, but we've got it back to 6th. We're still on deploy. We'll just keep using it as long as we can. And can we get this move done now on Perez? I tell you what, could Sargeant find himself on the podium here anyway, despite having 2 trips to the gravel trap? It's Ocon that's up next for us. There's a big part of me that wants to take him off attack now and just think, we've done well here. Don't break my own rule. As DRS is now enabled, we have used up all of our ERS.
So what DRS?
We do still have quite a bit of petrol we can burn, so no lift and coast coming in at the end of the straights, so it allows us to brake or attack the corner a little bit more. Oh, I don't. I'm going to regret not taking this back to standard, aren't I? I'm telling him to attack. But if we can get these guys, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Up the inside. There it is. A move done on Esteban Ocon. That's 4th place. Go and get on the podium, Logan. Go and get on the podium, mate. Come on. Oh, he's got Ocon up his inside. We should still have DRS, though. Fresher tyres. And that should be job done there. 2 laps to go. We're looking at the back of the podium. Do we have anything for Gasly? And Leclerc is right there as well. Now, of course, Sargeant did get a 2nd place in Singapore last year. So it wouldn't be a career best. And to be honest, I don't think we've got enough to get them, either of them, to get to Leclerc. Gasly, though, if we use a little bit of overtake, might be doable for us. Might be doable. We're going to drain the battery here, but we've got nothing to lose. It is about to be the last lap. It's our last chance on this DRS straight. Can he do it? Go on, Logan. Unfortunately, we're in that bit of a DRS train, aren't we? And that might be that. Let's now just back him off. Let's say 4th isn't bad. And if he gets a move done anyway, he gets a move done anyway. I tell you what, Leclerc is slow, isn't he? Come on. Logan, down the outside. Stick it up the inside, mate. He's going to have DRS here as well. Overtake, 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 overtake. Get it done. No. Not quite. We'll go deploy to the end of the lap and see if there's some sort of miraculous move we can pull off. But it doesn't look like it. Verstappen is going to win. Leclerc's 2nd. It's going to be Gasly 3rd. But Logan Sargeant, despite spending 2 trips to the gravel, comes home 4th. Crawford has crashed again.
Max Verstappen.
So we definitely did need to make that stop. I'm really glad I did that. If he hadn't crashed, if he had stayed on the track, I mean, you could make it. I mean, it's all hypothetical at that point. Would we have needed to come in and stop and whatnot? But he could easily have found himself on. He would have found himself on the podium. I'm almost certain of that. But there we go. Such a disappointment for Crawford. He was looking good for a 7th or 8th finish, really, wasn't he? So that would have been points for him. But Sargeant stays 7th. Closes up the gap to the few in front of him there as well, which is good to see. And Crawford will drop down a couple to 17th. And the constructors, it just keeps us there, doesn't it? In 5th, which is really, I think that's, if we can beat Mercedes this year with our drivers, that would be something, wouldn't it? But Alfa Romeo's a good team this year, as are Alpine. So yeah, we've got a work cut out, I think, if we're going to sort of get our 3rd or 4th that we've become accustomed to. But anyway, that'll do it for today. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time. The next race, I'm gonna say I've been saying it's Baku for about a month now. It must be Baku, surely. Or have we already done Baku this year? I don't know what it is. We'll find out when we get there. Take care.